Oh,
shit.
like they came back and did it like recently?
Yes. Oh shit, we live, bro. All right, well, welcome
Yeah.
back to the Phil's Not Included. But I'm gonna keep on that shit, bro. They tried to whack me for some shit from 2015. They was like, your shit is permanently banned. I'm like,
Oh,
damn. They said you can appeal it for 180 days. I'm like, well, what's the worst that can happen? I don't got access to my shit anyway, so I appealed it. And they made me send a picture of my ID, all this other shit, and they was like, all right, you straight, you back on. I was like, man, I ain't posted shit else.
man.
You know what I'm saying? But shit, welcome, man. Couple times it's kind of open, right? And I'm gonna keep it a buck. I saw a couple posts recently on Facebook that got me interested in in having this discussion. I saw a post that one person posted and said, "What do you call a 40-year-old gangster?" And my response was, and motherfuckers got mad. A person that's horrible at it. If you are 40, you still 40 plus is what it was. You still gangbanging. You're not good at it, bro. Gangbanging leaves one or two places: dead or in jail. I said, if he ain't dead or in jail, he ain't good at it. And I'm talking the traditional sense of gangbanging, not some cats that just claiming a set or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, yeah.
To me, because I've seen real gangbangers, they don't live long, or they don't stay free long. So, but that ruffles some feathers, and they start talking about gangs being groups of people trying to do something positive for the neighborhood. And I'm 48 years old, bro. I have yet to see one of them. I know they used to exist early 70s. They changed that.
Right. And that's what I was saying. For me, you know, organizations period in well across so-called black culture are have not been they seem to be they're counterproductive to what we are calling ourselves fighting against in the dominant, as far as the dominant society is concerned. And I just say we loosely because I don't really,
I'm with you.
yeah, for me, any organization, I don't see how. I think it's what's the word? Contradict,
Counterintuitive.
and it's contradictory because you can't. I don't see how you can complain about being shut out of opportunities or denied opportunities or deprioritized by so-called white people, but then you're a part of an organization that essentially does the same thing. That's what
Right.
a sorority would or fraternity would do, or that's what you would be obligated to do if you have a group, of people, you're in an organization, and then there's opportunities or there are resources you have access to. You would be expected to prioritize your peer, right?
Right.
And I mean, I guess, but I'm saying that. But then if when so-called white people do that,
It's a motherfucking problem.
it's a problem. And I just think that I don't think that we think this shit through. And we are not. What's the percentage of us?
13 max, 14
Right.
if we round up to the nearest 14. Goddamn it!
So being divisive in any way for us is just not is not conducive to where we say we want to be as a culture.
I think my issue on that is the cats that were referencing it weren't referencing positive shit at all, right? We talking vice lords, them like, bro. I've never claimed vice lords. I've never claimed GD. Like, it's weird to me that grown ass men are doing this. I give you a pass in your early teens, right? You're looking to fit in your late teens, early 20s. You're looking to fit in with some people, right? Or depending on where you live, you might have to join that shit to get by. But to me, when I think gangster, I think cats like I look at Chicago where they shooting on motherfuckers because you from the wrong street. You from the street around the corner. That's gangster shit to me, right? Not original gangster like the mob type shit, but it's just the our concept, our so-called black people's concept of gangster shit. There's no reason to perpetuate that bullshit. Like, we have enough problems in the world that adding a negative grouping is in my opinion even worse.
Yeah, that's
There's
what.
no upside,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I
That's
don't know any old drug dealers. I don't know any old gang members. You dead or in jail, bro. And if you're not dead or in jail, you probably shitty at the job. That's just the reality, right? But we push that shit, and it reminds me of something. I wanted to bring it in and play it, but Charleston White be on some other shit sometimes.
hey man, that's my nigga, man.
But he is, bro, because so somebody said white people don't know our struggle. He was like, bro, they created our struggle. They know the struggle better than we do. And I'm sitting back, right, and I'm like, okay, let me let this brother cook, right? So then he continues down the line. He's like, he said, they will take, he's talking about white. He said, white man will marry an average or below average woman because she's a great wife, a great mother, and deal with her. He said, brothers is passing that shit up to find some chick with a big old ass, a BBL and some fake lips and some fake eyelashes and the other. He said, man, the struggle, we get mad if you didn't get it out the mud. Bro, the one thing I'm probably the most proud of in my life is my kids didn't have to go through the struggle, right? I was talking to my brother earlier, and I was trying to get his ass to come on, but he was like, "Man, his daughter said something to him today." As a matter of fact, as we were having this conversation, he was like, "Man, my daughter said, Dad, we don't know enough about the hood." He was like, "You ain't supposed to, right? I bust my ass so you don't have to, because that's like we act like that's the shit, bro. Like we act like if you didn't come from the hood or didn't go through the struggle, you don't got it, you don't got it good, bro." I went through that shit, and this is no disrespect to my parents, because they bought a nice home and crack fucked the neighborhood up, right? But the shit I saw growing up, and drug dealers on the corner selling dope at 6 a.m, music beating, cats I've been to more funerals than I have weddings or graduations. That shit is not cool, bro. Like, and we it's like for some reason we perpetuate these extremely low value stereotypes instead of being proud of good shit. We literally want to. I don't know, bro. It's crazy. But Charleston White was just going, and he's like, man, they don't go through this. Nobody else brags about the struggle. Nobody else claims a set that they don't own property in the neighborhood, right? And
I'm saying I don't like we will pride ourselves on, HBCUs that were built and funded by so-called white people,
to
and
keep motherfuckers away from them.
right,
You know what I'm saying?
they don't even understand the context of what we are celebrating most of the time, and that's what I mean when I say, for me, all of the shit's weird when you really put it all into perspective. I'm a big picture type of person.
Right.
So while I respect anybody's, I ain't gonna say I respect it, but I won't disrespect a person's, position in that space if they feel like that's what they need. It's like, let's say, like religion. Like, I'm not a religious person, but I
Right.
understand there are people that really they need they need instructions,
They need a guide. They need a
and
guide to
if,
life.
yeah, and if that's what you need to sustain healthily, then okay, do your thing, right?
Right.
I
Right.
don't need that, and so that's why I'm saying, like, I grew up at a point I did need it. I did need to belong somewhere, right? I was This is where I live. This is all I know. And I didn't realize it then, but I was dealing with abandonment is what I was
Right.
dealing with,
Right.
right?
Right.
From my father. And then so you try to validate yourself through that shit, and but then some of it's a protective measure, right? Some of it is, like I was never really a troublemaker, right? But in South Bend, it's like, I have cousins and I have my grandmother's on the north side. Well,
Right.
they know I live. They know I'm coming from the southeast or the south side, right? So,
Right.
niggas have an issue with that. If you're not, so it's like for me, it's like, okay, well then I have to be affiliated in some way. Then it's
Right.
like a
That's what I said
survival.
earlier. You kind of have to for survival purposes, because that's
Yeah,
the. But if you think about how weird that shit is, bro. Like, I
it
don't
is
like you
very
because you
weird.
come from a different side of town that I also don't own property on. Right. Like, I don't own property nowhere, but I'm mad at you. We have more brothers that have died on streets that they don't own shit on. Right.
But
And
you know what I
I was
realized? Not to cut you off, but I realized that none of it wasn't really about it wasn't really about the what they said it was about.
not at
When
all.
it came down to it, it was all about pussy.
Hey, so we are, and I'm glad you said that, bro, because I was getting there. We are 100%. This is who we are. Okay, I'm gonna say 100%, but there's exceptions. But the majority of the shit we do for women. We can lie, we can pretend, we
Yeah.
can, bro. I everything I do from. If I didn't have a wife and kids, bro, I'd probably be the richest motherfucker in a homeless shelter. I don't need shit, right? I need to be able to get up in the morning and go where the fuck I want to go. If that's the other side of the earth, so be it, right? But I
Hmm.
have a family, so I want to provide a good. I do shit for my wife to make
Hmm.
sure she lives a comfortable life. And
Hmm.
we, even when I was in the streets, bro, I realized, I'm like, man, everybody in here selling this shit so they can get some pussy. It's so you can look better than the next man. It's a one up, and no, it's no different. Don't get me wrong. People like the lifestyle and different shit, and you benefit from it. But if you look at any rich man, there's probably a bunch of chicks around, right? You only
Hmm.
really need one or two, and we're gonna touch that subject too, because I forgot that Robin had talked about that. But
Hmm.
it's we do that shit for women, and most of us die for women too, right? Because that's what it really boils down to.
Hmm.
Somebody fuck with somebody's girl. Right, I
Hmm.
saw, and I don't be up on the shit, but I saw this Mexican Instagram comedian. Right, I don't even know what the fuck that means. Instagram comedian. I don't know if that means you're not really funny in real life. You're only funny on the internet. But dude's Mister Fuck Your Girls when his shit go by. Somebody whooped his ass because he smashed a chick. I'm like, bro, you you ain't really, he ain't the problem, right?
Mm,
Your chick gave up the draws. She ain't yours no more, right? But you
yeah.
beefing with a grown man because a woman who has her own body and her own choice decided to let somebody else touch it, right? Like I can almost understand if that's your homie, but even then, bro, he can't be closer to you than your girl. That's her responsibility.
Yeah, I think okay, if I'm playing, I first of all, I agree 100%. I'm just trying to play devil's advocate in terms of the context here with that, right? If this guy's whole intention is to do that, right? Is to hit my chick, then it could be like based on the principle of you trying to you're trying to do something that's against me, and that's the principle of
I
it,
mean,
right?
but he's not particular to you. But it's if your girl do her part, he's got a 0%
No,
success rate
I
across the
agree.
board.
I agree. I guess I'm saying a nigga could take it personal. Certain type of niggas can take it personal in that way. But I mean, me personally, like I could never. You know what I mean?
Bro,
I could
not at
never.
all. I told listen, this is when I was single. Listen, if my girl try to give you some pussy, take it. Because you can't come to me with some what if. Come to me and tell me about that special shit she doing. I'm gonna believe you. You can't come to me with, man, your girl tried to holler. Nah, bro, because if I gotta weigh my options between you and the motherfucker I put my all in, I gotta go with the person I put my all in, unless you come with me some verifiable evidence,
Yeah,
right?
and the fact of the matter is, like, it's an oxymoron, right? Like, you can't come to me and say, "Yo, girl, if you did anything with a chick, she is not mine." You know
Right.
what I mean? Like,
That's what I'm saying. Don't come to me with some she tried, right? You got to come to me with she did,
yeah.
right? Because try don't give you, bro. Take it on my behalf. You know what I'm saying? Take it on my behalf, because otherwise I can't rock with you.
But that like you probably in the 10% of, if that, of men who think like that. You know
But
what I
that's
mean?
how I was raised. Like, bro, yo, bitch chose me. I can't be mad at you. Like, I'm a firm believer of my body, my choice. If she choose to give it away, how am I gonna be mad at the next man? Right? I can have some animosity and some this motherfucker could have, But if
Yeah,
it wasn't him, it was
yeah,
gonna be somebody else.
yeah. It probably already was.
Right?
You know what I
Right, for
mean?
her to lay down with a dude I'm cool with, she had to fuck with some strangers.
So I'm saying that shit like that is a blessing, like to me.
But dudes are dying over that shit, bro.
I know. That's what I believe most, like in most organizations, is really they're motivated by the attention, because it's like you get attention when you're with a group of
Mhm.
people. You think that, right? It's easier to get
Might be
attention.
negative, but it's attention.
Right, but it's not really like, for me. I pride myself in standing on my own. You know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
being off the radar. That's what I like. I did when I went to school. I was approached to even or attempted to be recruited to be in a fraternity, and I just asked logical questions like, what's the benefits, and they would say
I
the
couldn't do
things
it.
that you mentioned, right? And it was just, for me, I'm like, hey, respectfully, because he was a cool dude, and I'm just like, respectfully, like, I already got all those things. I can do all those things without an organization. You know what I mean? And quite frankly, I don't see the point in me. Why would I'm not going to pay or allow another man to validate me into any group of people it's just, I already know who I am. And he understood it 100%. You know what I mean? It's like, and that's how I think. I don't see.
My perspective is different on the whole sorority. You can't punk me, punish me, burn me, pay me to be one of your homies.
Yeah,
Because you
right.
touch me with anything, I'm gonna fuck you up.
Right. So
Right? Like, I don't have that. You can't bully me into some shit, bro. Right? You know what I'm saying? Like, I joined the military years and years ago, uh, many years ago. Because my homies was killing my homies. Right? I was cool with everybody. See, I've never been a side of town dude. Right? I had homies from this side of town, this side of town. They was beefing and killing. I'm like, I run with these dudes. I don't know who I'm gonna be caught with when the shit goes out. Man, I told my girl, I got to do something different. I have to move away now. I went to the motherfucking military, signed a document on a Friday, and was gone Monday. Right? Like, I needed to escape the environment I was in, because I was gonna get caught in the crossfire.
Mhm.
And there was no end in it, right? Because the shit, you know how that shit go, but once somebody in the streets do some shit, it don't end. White dude can do it to us, and we'll go to court and apologize and love his family. But if somebody look like us do it, we got to go until somebody ain't alive. But my whole point in saying that, bro, is just like, I can't dealing with. So I went to the military, and the basic training shit to me was more of a, I asked for this, so I'm gonna participate, right? But I'm looking at dudes getting broke down and shit. I'm like, man, it's crazy to me that grown men can be broken. mentally without any real physical damage. They just making you do push-ups and run and shit like that. I'm like, bro, for me, people I know are dying. This shit is okay. But I watch grown people get broke down, and I realize, bro, a lot of men are not that strong mentally, right? And that's what lets people get into these gangs and other this shit like that. But going back to the original post, a point, 40 plus years old in the gang is stupid as fuck, right? There's no justification, like there's no value in it. I can probably dig deep and try to find some kind of value. If I had to dig into a sorority, I'm gonna exclude some shit out, but I'm gonna add some specific value. I don't see it with a gang, right? I don't know anybody who's like, man, I've been able to take my care of my family because this gang I'm in, right? Like your family's at risk if you're in a real fucking gang, bro. But
But but you can compare them. Like they are comparable in that context. It might be by it might be a bit of a stretch, but not really, right? Just like a person that's in a fraternity or a sorority could say, like, I've been able to take care of my family based on the resources that have been extended to me through my affiliation in this organization. A man that is in a gang could say the same thing about, whether he has access to drugs or
yeah,
whatever to be able to.
a sorority ain't getting you shot at, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, when was the last time you seen a sorority shooting?
Well, I mean, actually, in the city I went to school in, there was the one of the fraternities was actually banned from functioning because they had an ongoing feud with some of the local street niggas in the city.
So that was a gang. That was a motherfucking
I'm
sorority.
saying,
That
I'm
was a
saying,
gang too.
but here's what I'm saying. No, but this is a nationally recognized. I'm talking about one of the top sororities, right? I'm saying they were the same. Like it was, what I mean, they were the same in the grand scheme of things. Now they didn't represent the same thing on paper, but I'm just saying that how this is the organization. This group of street niggas identified these dudes, and that's how. And to be honest with you, that's how a lot of these niggas act when they get into these.
No doubt, no
You know what I
doubt.
mean? Like
Like they
so.
better than. But I
Yeah,
just don't see. I don't see. I guess I look at it in the aspect of I don't see the violent aspect as a base. Like you don't have to get. I don't know. I guess you got to get violated to get into that shit, but
right.
you don't have to go. Ain't nobody. I don't know, bro. I just look at when I think of gang. You also let me take a step back. You too fucking old at 40 to be in a sorority too. Let's keep it real. I'm not.
Yeah, I
You
don't
know,
think it's about being. I don't think it's. That's what I say. I don't think it's about an age. I think it's silly at any point.
I think it's about an age. I give people a pass when they're young. We do dumb shit when we're young because we just don't. We want to fit in. We want to do shit to try to be a part. A lot of us. I've always been. A lot of us are like, man, I'm trying to fit in. I'm trying to fit out. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to be
Right.
associated with anybody's anything. I've never
Right.
been that dude, right?
I get what you're saying. I'm saying that even me saying that I was involved in this type of activity and I gave my explanation for it, it doesn't mean it wasn't silly. You know what I mean? Like
Right, right,
of course I'm not going to be judged on the same plane because I was a kid, right?
right.
But I'm saying it doesn't change it. Like it's silly. You know what I mean? Like to put it in context, a murder is murder at any point. You know what I mean? Whether I'm 40 killing somebody or I'm 14 killing somebody. You know what I mean? It's
It's still murder.
right. But of course, you're not going to be judged. You shouldn't be judged the same way. But
Right.
the
The
actual
action's the same.
act is the same, right? That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
And so when you look at let's compare real quick. Let's just say a gang versus a fraternity, right? Most gangs you have to be jumped in.
Initiated of some sort. Same
Initiated.
thing with the fraternity.
And same thing in a fraternity. You know what I'm saying? Most gangs is they have colors and signs,
Right.
and same thing with a fraternity or a sorority, right?
Right. But they're not doing drive-bys, bro. That's what the shit I'm on. Like that's what I'm saying.
They're
Like
not. They're not doing. That's what I'm saying. That
they're not trying to murder the ops.
right.
You know what I'm saying? Like
And
that's
that's but if you know the history of a lot of fraternities and sororities, a lot of people come up dead
it might. But bro,
from the
and
hazing.
maybe I'm misunderstanding the gangs. But to me, a gang is about taking over. You killing the opposition. You're
That's
not
not
fighting them no more. Them
that's not
days
what
is
they
gone.
say. That's not what they
But
say.
I'm
Is
talking about what they do.
right. That's why I don't think it's about. That's going to happen. The gangs is just is the covert. It's this covert for violence. And you know what I mean? Like you can remove the gangs, violence is still going to happen.
Right,
You
right.
know what I mean? It's niggas that's been in gangs their whole life that never did anything violent. You know what I mean?
That's not a gangster to me, right? Like, but I'm with you. I agree with you 100%, right? Like,
But
you're not a gangster. You just getting by.
but even when you talk about being a gangster, like gangsters historically across other cultures were
Yeah, but we
about
we, we focus on ours, right?
right.
I'm with you.
That's what I'm saying. When we talk about us, it's only just it's just covert. It's not. We don't. We're just really making mockeries of things that already existed outside of our culture, and we're calling it something that it never really was.
Right,
But at the end of the day, the with the byproducts of it is going to be violence no matter what.
right. And so I guess my whole point is there's nothing positive about gangs. So people talking about, man, it's about bringing the community together. That shit, maybe again in the '70s. That's not what we see today, right? I mean, it's South Bend is South Bend, right?
But in the '70s, right? I'm saying, okay, let's take Black Panthers, right? Let's say we I think we most people know what they were supposed to stand for,
Initially,
right?
right,
Right. As that organization grew, though, there were a lot of things going on within that organization. Like if you do the history, it a lot of things were like there were people involved in that organization that were operating like, you know, very what's the word morbidly to say the least, right?
hmm
There are stories that even when they were doing they were doing like concerts and things like that, and they were dealing with entertainers and there were discrepancies at some point. A lot of those people handled those situations like gangs would handle them, right? These are
right,
people that
right.
were. So I'm saying is this is, but we don't. Nation of Islam. Let's even look at the history of Nation of Islam, right? When you look at that, they call them theories. I know what I believe, and we ain't got to get into it. But
Right,
when you
right.
look at the history of what happened with Malcolm X, right?
No doubt, no doubt.
Like
Right.
like that was gang activity, if you
No,
ask me.
so that goes to the point where I feel like, man, no matter what we do, some of us are always for sale. We will take
Yes,
money over the
yes, that's
betterment
all.
of which is crazy. And I
That's
understand all
the
people
point.
do that, but I'm like, when you have a subset of people who have had the bullshit we've had, right, the bullshit we've dealt with, like, I don't know, I'm weird, bro. Like, I'm not for sale. You
Hey,
can't pay me to do some shit I wouldn't do for free.
that's what I'm. That's free will. That's why I had to stop subscribing to this social construct of racism and shit, right? Because it's not. We just collectively don't want to be better. That's it.
So let's talk about that, because I agree with you, and it hurts my motherfucking soul to have to say that. These are conversations I used to want to only have in the house and in the barbershop, right? Because I'm like, this ain't for everybody, but right
And
now
that
this shit
but
is for everybody.
right. It is what it is. Like that's why I'm saying we talk about it. If we talk about it in the context of gangs and stuff, I think it's silly to me because it's like, hey, how is this helping us culturally? I'm not talking about what it does for you as an individual.
Right.
I'm saying
The
how does it
overall,
help us? And it doesn't at all. It
bro.
doesn't mobilize us.
I've had this conversation, and again, my brother and I had this conversation earlier talking about the same topic. I'm like, bro, some of these motherfuckers talking shit is almost 50. You damn near retirement age, bro. You ain't worked in 20 years or 30 years. Like, what are you trying to achieve? What are you doing other than, I think you do more damage to the community by not having something positive to point out than you do just because when you fuck with that lifestyle, bro, when you claiming you gangsters in your 40s and fucking 50s, the young people looking up to you, right? The people you associate with accept that shit, right? Like, and that becomes their idea because you're you big bro, right? You know what I'm saying? And they look at it and it's just like, man, bro, it's we don't want to have we don't want to do what's necessary. Again, I have this discussion debate shit with my boy all the time. I'm like, bro, we spend so much time complaining about what's wrong. We don't want to fix it because if we fix it, we ain't got shit to complain. Well, I think we just like to complain.
That's all I'm saying. Like I mean, there are certain things that we don't have to We don't have to extract data. We can just know we know what the state of the culture is, right?
Mhm.
And I don't care what nobody says. There is no other culture, to my knowledge, on the face of this earth where the women talk about their men the way that we do.
Bro,
I've never seen it.
I'm torn, right? Because I have came around to the side of a lot of these chicks ain't shit. But I was sitting down with a chick earlier today, and I put blame on her, as her did her father, right? She was with a dude. She's a good chick, right? Like when I say good chick, she seems like a stand-up chick, attractive chick. She's she's in decent shape. She she takes care of shit. She had a baby. She had 4 kids by one dude. I have respect for that, right? You kept it all. You kept it all gangster, right? With dude. But you didn't get married. I can give you the first one. I'm guilty of saying I give you the first one. After the first one, you should have got married before the first one, but you didn't.
Mhm.
You didn't get married after the first one. You didn't get married after the second one. You didn't get married after the third one. She got pregnant with the fourth one. Bro dipped on her, said he didn't want 4 kids, right? Which is fucked up, right? And so we were talking. I asked her, tell me about your father. Good, strong father. Her father was like, hey, this is a decent dude because he met him. But her father did say, hey, listen, hold on, you're moving too fast. Now you got a baby, that's cool. Don't have no more until y'all married, right? So she took that initiative herself to continue allowing that situation.
Did she say why?
No, she did not say why, and I will tell you why, because she loved that motherfucker, and what she had was in her mind sufficient for some reason. Her father and her mom got divorced when she was younger, but he'd been married to her stepmom for over 20 years, right? So it's not like she didn't see the shit. And her father was a stand-up dude. He talked to her, he guided her. She just, dick sometimes take over, right? It's just the real. But it was fucked up because she told me, she's like, man, dude left me when I was pregnant because he didn't want 4 kids. Fucked around and got somebody else pregnant, right? So now right. The other baby ain't even here yet, right? Her baby maybe 4 months. The other baby ain't here. Now he trying to fix shit. She's like, bro, I don't understand. Like, how can you, right? She's like, nah, I don't understand. Like, what's your situation with the other baby? She's like, because you need to be involved. But I
she
can't.
might as well. She might as well, though.
Well, so that's where I was torn on that one, right? Because that's where like in my heart, I'm like, the kids will benefit,
Yeah,
right?
it ain't gonna be the same. It ain't gonna
But
be
you
right.
got this other kid that this other chick and this other part of the family that's gonna create a fucked up ass dynamic.
Yeah, but I'm
Because at
saying
some point, Christmas events at school are gonna overlap, and you're gonna have to make a choice.
no. She's gonna have to. It's about her accepting that child.
So
Like
that was
that.
my thing. I'm like, hey, did you reach out? She's like, yeah, she wasn't going. She's like, I
No,
already.
it ain't on her. It ain't on her to build that relationship. It's
That's
that's
on
his
bro.
responsibility, right? But I'm saying,
But he fucked that up already.
she has to be open to it. Now, if
I
the
think she
girl
is, bro,
doesn't,
because she's like, man, he want to work it out, but he can't handle the how to make this work, right? Because so she was like, this is the crazy part. The chick he knocked up don't even live in the same city. He went on some out of town shit, so there's no relationship. He knew her, right? He knew her, and I think he was already smashing, right? I think that's why they broke up. That's what I told her. I said, bro wanted to hit that shit and feel okay spending a weekend or a night out somewhere without having no bullshit. But so she actually said, okay, since he lives out of town, since she lives out of town, do you plan on staying with her for a week or two when the baby? He's like, nah, I'm going back and forth every night because it's not too far from where you at. She's like, that's weird to me. Like, why would you? She gonna need you too. Like, I'm listening to this chick talking. I'm like, I ain't never heard this much sensible shit come out of a woman's mouth in this situation in my motherfucking life. She's literally telling dude, like, you need to go down there for a week or two and when the baby's first born. He's like, no, I'm going back and forth every night so I can be home. But what it is he don't want her fucking around. He know if he gone, right? Because she's not a bad looking chick by any means, bro. I mean, I would rate her as a very attractive woman. She's well spoken, and anybody can get mad at me if they want to. I don't see that shit around here with a lot of black women. In this area, very well spoken, attractive, fit, and about family. That's she's rare, right?
yeah, but
But
she either missed or ignored something, and
she ignored it 100%. We had that conversation. She ignored it.
She ignored
She said
something.
he should have married me. He took too long. I said, well, why'd you keep having his babies? She's like, I don't know. Yeah, you do because you didn't want him to leave. You kept having sex with him because you wanted him to stay, but he left any goddamn way.
But in retrospect, even if they had gotten married, that wouldn't have stopped him from doing that shit.
Not at all.
You know what I mean?
Well,
I
not
don't
at
I
all.
don't think it would have, like, for him to go do that type of shit. You know what I mean?
That's some weird shit, bro.
Like a nigga, I'm saying a nigga that married or not, a nigga that that leaves a woman on the fourth child with the excuse of the reason of because I don't want to have four kids.
Right, and then
Nigga,
go have a baby.
you're just a selfish nigga. Like that's just, and I don't think those things just come out of nowhere. I think that there were signs. I mean, I'm guilty of it. I'm guilty. I can look back at my relationships and say everything that manifested that came to a head at the end of the relationship, it existed prior to. It was just on a small scale. I wasn't really tripping on it. You know,
Right, right.
but I learned that that's one. It taught me about life. That when a person shows you who they are, you have to believe it.
That's what I said. Listen, I said, let me explain to you the most basic form men and women. Men want to get a woman and have her never change. I said, y'all want to get a man and change him. That shit don't work. I said, you have to find a man who shit you can deal with. If that man is a serial cheater and you like that motherfucker, deal with the serial cheat. If he's a whatever he is, that's who he's gonna be.
Yeah, that's
You
why.
you cannot change him,
Yeah,
right? And you
that's why
can't
she
get
need to be open.
mad.
That's why she need to be open to.
And that's why we had a legit. I said,
Yeah.
I said, keep it. You done told me all this shit already. Have you ever been unfaithful? She was like, no. I've been waiting. I've been his. I'm like this. And, this is not an old chick, bro. She's
Nah,
28.
yeah, she won't do it again. Like
Oh
he
no, she said I'm mad. I didn't do some of the shit that came my way because
it's coming.
right,
It's gonna happen no matter what. Like
yeah, because the door had been open.
he need to accept that. You know what I'm saying? Like if you need to if you trying to, I
Bro,
mean,
she said I expect a man from time to time to do some shit he shouldn't, but not leave his family.
and then don't have no baby. Nigga, you tripping?
Right. That's I'm not sure that's recoverable, bro. Like that's kind of like the because in her head she could be like, you know what, he didn't do it, but when that little motherfucker here, bro, you can't pretend. So that goes to what Robin had talked about, right? And I see that conversation a lot. If a broke man isn't entitled to a woman, a rich man shouldn't be locked down to one, or a man with money should not be locked down to one. First, I don't think a broke man should not be entitled to a woman, depending on your age. But that's an interesting topic.
That is an interesting topic. But for me, I would even go a step further and say like I don't understand why women who are not virtuous at any point in their
Right.
life expect to have this man just have one woman and it be them. Why do you want this man to sacrifice and for you what you didn't even preserve for what you didn't preserve for him? You already gave this to another nigga for less than for
For
peanuts. You know what I'm
right,
saying?
right.
So why do I got the, you know what I mean? Like I'm not saying that you don't deserve to have a quality, the upgrade, right? But I'm saying you got to pay a toll too. You know what I mean? Like,
I'm with you, bro. I think
like
I think I agree and I disagree with the money and the multiple women. If if she was there for you, right, when you had nothing and helped you build that shit, then y'all need to do what y'all need to do collectively, whatever that is, right? But if I was not your option until I was comfortable, you don't get to tell me shit. You can join, like I said, you can accept the man for who he is, or not. But if I'm a financially stable single man and nobody held me down during these struggles and big up me when I needed that pat on my back when I was going through it, then you don't get to tell me you're the only one.
okay,
Why are you the only one?
I think that's why
And
that's
then
where
and
I
then why
think
are you the one? If you're gonna be the only one, why are you the one?
I agree. So I think that for me, even if we were together, right? If you have to be directly tied to my come up. Like
100%.
if we were
Not
just,
NBA shit.
like if we were just together, like we were together, but I'm the one building, and we were just a couple. That's different from you actually were in the gym shooting with me. You know what I'm
Right, right.
saying?
You
Like,
invested in me. You took the back seat so I can
yeah.
drive type shit.
Yeah, like that's what I'm talking about. But it's just because if I'm me, I'm not in my prime yet, but we rock, you know what I'm saying? But I
I mean,
take
if
care
your
of
path is destined, right? LeBron James, Michael Jordan,
right.
Kobe Bryant, right?
That's
I was just going
that
down the list of people who
yeah,
everybody knew they were going to be the shit at some
exactly.
point.
And to me, so that means to me that like so those women were not they were going to be them regardless.
But
You know what I'm saying?
knowing you were going to be you, why fucking even choose one?
Because it's a construct. That's just what it is. And you know, and also in America, it is essential to your legacy, right? Like
You
it.
want to have kids
Yeah,
and
just
yeah.
because you have multiple women don't mean you're supposed to have multiple kids with all these
No,
women.
no, bro, I'm with you 100%.
You know,
That is one thing that I'm adamant on. I was having this conversation. This is who I was talking to the chick today, right? Like I'm saying, she got 4x1. I'm like, listen, I don't care what you do. Don't pop another fucking baby out by somebody else.
right? That's
You
where
are
he
going to
fucked up at.
destroy your life.
He tripped. He tripped with that one.
Cause you like the chick
He,
he popped one out with. I wanted to ask how many did she have, right? Because I know he ain't the first one. Cause you just let him smash raw on some old bar humbug shit.
it wouldn't even matter. I don't care if she was a virgin, nigga. You got 4 kids with this
I
one.
won.
Nah, it's
That's some shit you don't
like
throw away, bro.
unless like y'all, you and this woman agree that hey, we want to bring another woman into this, right? We want to build a poly relationship, and we select this person, and you
Right,
know
that
we
wasn't it.
that no, but you to go do it on some. You tripped. You really did fuck something up that was
I mean,
special.
because right, you had. I mean, bro, and I don't know the chick that well. I've only known her for a few months through some business shit, right? But the conversation came up, and I don't even remember what brought it up. But the conversation came up, so we've been talking. But I'm like, that's a bro. That's some lottery shit. Like she's okay with a lot of the shit you done did, and you still said
He
like
tripped.
I don't care. I don't even care what the rest of the shit going. You left because you told her you don't want that many kids, when
He
knowing you were doing the
tripped.
act.
That yeah. You know what?
That's unacceptable for
It,
me.
it's really is a. I'm not a
I've
woman.
never heard I've never heard that shit before, bro.
So I don't even know. I'm only speaking as a man. So as a woman, I can't even really say that shit can go either way. Like nigga, you really because I mean, you essentially like a coward. You know what
You
I'm
ran
saying?
out on you. That's what she said. She said he's a coward. He ran out on his family. So this is the situation, right? Like I said, it's business. So I know her, right? She had to go to work because bro was like, I'm tired of taking care of you. I'm not doing this no more with the fourth kid. I'm done. Like she had to go get a job. She was a worker. Then she had their first baby. He's like, I want you to stay at home. She had second baby, third baby, stay at home. When the fourth baby comes, he's like, you gotta get a job. I'm done.
He just that's an excuse. He wanted to do it. He was
And that's what I told her. I said he ran into her somewhere,
yeah
whoever her was.
yeah.
He was like, I need a justification for this.
Nah,
But to use
that's
your baby, bro, before he's
crazy.
born,
That's crazy.
I
I
said I ain't
can't
never heard
even.
no shit like this.
I ain't neither. Like, but because I mean, like my oldest daughter is 8, right? So you know, if just to keep it 100, if I had planned on having another daughter, she would have came right after my oldest daughter. So she wasn't really in the plan, right? But obviously, you know, when she like when we conceived her, it's like life is different now. Then
Right.
you
I
know what I
mean,
mean? Like,
you knew the action lead to the
yeah,
result. It
okay,
wasn't a surprise.
that's just it. There is no such thing as man. I ain't even really want another kid, so I mean, I don't think the universe is going to like. I don't think this nigga finna live. I don't know. I'm not
I don't
God.
know, bro.
I'm not God.
What I think
But
is
that
gonna
shit
happen
sounds crazy.
is somebody's gonna find her. Somebody who might have 3 or 4 his own by one,
He
right?
shouldn't. That's where I think we going
He
down that
shouldn't,
hole.
but I'm gonna tell you, bro. I'm just telling you what's gonna happen. This is listen. We live in that time where, and her and I had that conversation. I'm like, you do realize you live in a time where dudes with kids will look at you and be like, I don't want to fuck with you because you got kids, and you can't be mad at that because that's their choice, right?
But she's
Um,
28. She'll fuck around have another. If she have another
that
kid, that's where it's gonna get
that's
even
what I
worse.
said. No matter what you do, don't let no other man. If you gotta have another, you gotta have it by that motherfucker. And I hope you don't. But don't let another man knock you up
I'm
because
saying
now you in a whole different bracket.
what type what so you think there are quality men out there that want a woman with children and he
I,
don't want no children?
I think there are men who may have been in the exact opposite situation where they had 3 or 4 kids by their wife or their fiance or their
Brady
girl,
Bunch.
whatever.
Brady Bunch.
Brady Bunch type shit. I can't be mad at that, right? It's hard. I think it's hard for a man with 3 or 4 kids to look at a chick who got no kids and be like, you should be my girl. Because to me,
Yeah,
that's fucking stupid. On
she
her,
what
it's
I'm
just no
saying.
different than him.
She would they're gonna have to try hard not to have a baby though. Then like she's too
Right. You
she's
got to
young.
take some. You got to, and that's the thing. You got to take some motherfucking action to prevent it.
Yeah,
So
it's
we wanted 2 children, 2 fucking children, a boy and a girl. We had a boy and a girl, and we had a discussion like, you want any more kids? Like, nah, I don't got snipped. It's a wrap for me. I don't want, and I've never wanted kids in 2 places. So if this shit don't work out, I'm done. I took the responsibility because I want to control. That's what I want to control my future. There's bro, it's too many. You never know what's gonna happen. And brothers is I'm the youngest of you know what I'm saying. It's 4 boys. I'm the youngest. A couple of my brothers then spit out. Well, one of my brothers spit out some kids, right? Some young ones. I'm like, bro, that shit can never happen to me. I can't do it. I can't
I
do
feel
it.
you. I feel
Right? Like for me, that was, bro. Man, I had my first kid 18. That shit is not easy, right? So for me, having another one after I finally got it on easy street, shit, I couldn't do it.
I mean, you just super rare in that way. You know what I mean? Like
Right,
I mean, I actually, hey, hats off to you. Like I don't like to talk about because I can't live in the past because it
right,
would
right. No, but I mean,
like is right. But I'm saying, hypothetically speaking, like I feel like that's how we should all think. Like we like what you explained is that you were very intentional about drawing your life up in that way, exactly how you
my
wanted.
shit was drawn up before I was able to have children. I was 12 years old when I knew I didn't want kids in 2 places.
Yeah, and that's the power. That's what I was trying to explain to my sons. Like right now, like you can draw. I didn't, bro. Do you know I would? This is for all. It took me to get to this point in my life to realize that. Like, damn, like this is what I could have done. Like you
You
literally,
have the power,
I just
right?
didn't. I didn't realize
Right,
that.
and that's okay, right? And I have these conversations. Oh man, you don't know because you only been with your girl so long. I'm like, bro, and it's TMI as fuck. But I've had sex with my wife over 4,000 times, more times than most people have sex in their fucking life, and we have 2 children. If I can go 1 for 39.80, goddamn it, or 2 for 39.80, you can avoid it.
Yeah,
It's a,
yeah,
I know
yeah.
how good that shit feel, bro. When you
Right.
right,
Absolutely.
so there's
Absolutely.
no question
100%.
about it. But I've also I've done enough shit in my life where I've had post nut clarity too. Like, why the fuck would you do that?
I think see this is what I think that right there that's a concept that I think we need to explore more, that post nut clarity, because it literally is, to me, that's the epitome of when you're supposed to realize how this shit really work. Like, if you when you have post nut clarity, you realize that, oh, that shit is actually only an urge. You know what I mean? Like, so I need to control that, because those urges can change the trajectory of my life. Think I might have lost you.
Hey, that's me. My bad. I clicked some shit. 100%. But continue. You was cooking. You was
Yeah,
cooking.
yeah.
My bad, bro. That was
I
all me though.
No, it's all good. That's why I'm just saying that, like, that shit really is real. Like, when if you choose to be present and mindful during those periods, even if you don't make a mistake, even if it's just something like you laying up with you having sex with a person that you with, right? Like, after that peak, you supposed to realize that, like, after that urge is gone, like, it's not, like, it has to
No, it
be
don't end.
right. So it has to be about somebody that I want to have a life with. It can't be about
Just smashing.
yeah, it can't be about that. Like,
So
we're not
I mean,
when
we
it
had our
comes
first
to,
kid at 18, bro, and we realized, I don't want to take credit. We realized this shit's way more. This was in 95, by the way, right? Shit's way more expensive than we can deal with. So I'm like, hey, let's have a conversation, because we want 2 kids. We've always said that. What do we want to make before we have the second one? Right. And then what are we going to do to not have a kid in between right now and then? And
but
so we took those precautions.
but y'all already knew that y'all really loved each other, is what I'm saying,
Right.
right?
But I knew without her that I'm not having kids by 2 people, bro. Like, I'm
Right.
not.
But I'm saying that you still could have, outside of, like, the kid aspect, you could have been with someone and still succumb to those urges, even if you ain't had no kids with her or another person, right?
Bro,
But you
I know how good that
already
shit feel. I knew for me,
right.
if I had to leave, I'm cutting it then too, because I
Yeah.
know what that shit is like.
But I'm saying you prioritize the person that you wanted to
100%,
deal with over the urge, is what I'm saying.
100%, 100%.
We collectively across the board, a lot of us men don't have that skill. You know what
Bro,
I'm
we
saying?
will not fuck with a chick 'cause her ass flat. Like, think about that in a
Right.
grand scheme of things, bro.
That's what I'm saying. No, that's really what I'm saying.
When I talk to my homies who had horrible fucking first baby mamas, they be like, man, but she was bad though. I'm like, yeah, that's cool. Right? What is she now?
Bruh. But what
Right?
I'm
She might
saying,
still be bad, but she bad for
man,
you, and she fucking up
man,
your kid.
but they don't work. Most motherfuckers, it don't work like that. All of us, I mean, You might have some that age a little bit more gracefully, I guess, but
I mean,
you
eventually everybody will get fucking
old
old.
is old. Old is old. And you're
Right.
like you don't look. I don't know.
You don't
I
look
just
21 no more.
yeah,
Goddamn
I
it.
just in this world because we're in this country we're shallow, right? Like, you know what I mean.
100%.
So in this country, I don't care how well you age. A 40-year-old woman does not look better than a 20-year-old woman. You know what I mean? Like
Not at all.
that's
Right. I
just
mean, assuming they're on par shape wise, size wise and
yeah,
shit.
right. That's what I'm saying. Like I'm saying, okay, a 40-year-old woman does not look better than her 20-year-old self.
100%.
In
In most cases,
yeah,
right.
in this country, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, I'm not now. In all fairness, a 40-year-old woman should be and can they can be and should be a better version of themselves
Hmm.
than that
Hmm.
20-year-old. She's worth more. You
Right.
know, you know what I'm saying? Like she should be anyway. If she's virtuous though. That's
So,
where
so,
the issue is.
so that was a discussion I was having with somebody too. I'm like, there's a difference between, and I know I disagree with some folks and people disagree with me on body counts, but it's a difference between a chick who was just sexually promiscuous and a chick who, whatever she did was private. It didn't, it's if you didn't know about it, right? Like if you meet a chick and she's cool as fuck, but she's like, well, I've had sex with 15 dudes, you know. You know what I'm saying? You can't fuck with her no matter what. Reality say you can't deal with it. But you can meet a chick who seems cool and she's like, I ain't had sex with nobody you know. She might have had sex with a lot of motherfuckers, but you're more likely to deal with her. Right? Because it's not the
Not
in
me.
your face.
Not me.
I mean, but if you don't know, you don't know.
I mean, no, I don't think it's about knowing as much as it is about what the reality is. She is not going to be able to.
But
She
how
can
do
be
you know?
cool because what I'm saying is because that's physiology. Like the more people a woman has sex with, the harder it's going to be for her to really mate with the man on a bigger in the grand scheme of things. That's just how it
You know,
we
and you're right, excuse me for interrupting, but this is why I tell my guys, I said, man, God forbid my wife get abducted by aliens. I gotta date somebody, because that's the only way it's going down. I gotta date somebody who was recently widowed or recently divorced. I can't date somebody who's been single forever. I
yeah,
couldn't.
right. That's what I'm saying. Like that's what I mean when I say when I talk about how rare your situation is. It may not be rare in the grand scheme of the
Right,
world,
right, right.
but definitely
I mean,
culturally.
in my environment, right? And the
Yeah,
people I
right.
know.
So I'm saying that yeah, you have absolutely no reason to think outside of what you've built because you were never going to have that problem. You
But
know
I'm
what
just
I'm
saying
saying?
though, a lot of cats like, man, I'm looking for a young chick. I'm like, these young chicks, wow, bro.
Yeah.
You need, if you want a good woman, she's going to be older and she gonna come with some issues. That's reality. But
Once
she
again,
coming out of a widowship or a divorce.
we
Because
don't know
if
how to
you
make.
get one that's been out here just free willy nilly,
We don't know how to make, man. You know what I'm saying?
I agree. I agree.
I use my situation as even
We
an
don't know
example.
why to
Like
mate. I think that's a better way to put it. We don't know
yeah,
why to mate.
because I agree. Because if you knew why, then the how would come naturally, right? But you can't go like you said. You can't go off the age because if you a person like teenage pregnancy is been normalized for decades with us now, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So uh, you can you can get you a 20-year-old that has one child, right? That one child that changed the whole trajectory of who she was going to be as a mate.
100%.
Like like you're going to deal with some. You're not going to get the best version of her. You never could.
Right,
That's
right.
just the reality of it. Like she is not going
There's
to.
a man who always has a place in her life,
Yes, no matter what. You know, what
no
I mean,
matter what, and rightfully so.
right, right. And I'm saying I've experienced it. Like it's like okay, even speaking for myself as that man, like that has children or women who have other lives outside of me, right? Like I'm still there. You know what I mean? Like
Right. You can
you're
show up.
you're
You
going
you
to
expected to if
always
shit goes south, right? I
yeah,
mean,
you can't do nothing about it. And guess what? No matter how good you are, she's always going to compare you to me one way or
100%. Good,
another.
bad, or ugly,
Yeah, good,
right?
bad. It just Like, who wants to be like? Just think about it. Why, as a man, you want to be with somebody like you want to build a life with somebody to where you're being compared to another man in any way.
Right.
We think this is where we come to a place now to where we take pride in that, right? We take pride in being a man with a
I
woman
stepped
says,
up.
"Oh, you are way better than that." Nigga, it's the same shit. If
I
you will,
mean, and this is what I'm gonna say about a lot of the stepfathers I know. They're great stepfathers, but they're also horrible real fathers. Motherfuckers be having babies elsewhere they don't fuck with and be super king daddy on the other side. I'd be like, that's fucked up. Like, and then you can blame your baby mama, right? And again, I'm of a different walk of life. If my baby mama's keeping me from my kid, I'm broke. I'm trying every dollar I get goes into trying to get my child get access to my kid. I'm not gonna sit back and
I
say
don't know, Brody.
I feel you, but I hear people sit back and say, "Man, I gave up. She was fighting." But like, bro, you got all this nice shit. You didn't give up. You picked something else.
No, there are definitely these weird ass cases, right? I guess I'm talking in the grand scheme of things. I think that this is one of the things where like you're gonna always be speaking from a place of like what your life is different than
I'm telling you what I
like
think. That's all I can
right.
tell you.
So I'm gonna tell you, and I just had this conversation with my homegirl. We was having a real conversation, and I'm like, and she didn't agree with me at first, and I don't think she agreed with me ultimately, but she definitely understood what, and I was just like, and as it stands right now, when I look at my life and how I handled my situations with my sons, right? Like and I use my youngest as an example. And I was like, really? I would have been better in terms of legacy. I would have been better off aborting that situation and then going and just finding somebody and building with them and having another son and raising that son under me. I would have had a better outcome legacy wise.
Right, right.
It sounds fucked up, right? But it's the truth when I look
I mean,
at
that's
my life.
reality.
You see what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
and like I'm not saying that I regret, like doing like
No, but
not
I'm just
doing
saying. Right. I'm with you. You
it, right?
can being able to
So
do it 24 hours a day for however many 22 years, whatever it takes.
yeah, and so I just say that to say that that is oftentimes the situation. Like now, doing it with somebody else's kids, that no, I don't. That's the part that I'm
I'm
not saying
I'm
that.
not cut out for it.
But
I'm gonna be honest, bro. I
yeah,
always said I would never date a single mother, but I also said I'd never create one. That was my rule. I'm
yeah,
not gonna create one, but I'm also not gonna date one
yeah,
because I know who I am.
yeah,
Right?
for sure, for
I
sure.
can't allow myself, and I don't ever ask anybody to put no input on this shit. But I said I can't allow myself to love somebody else's child remotely as close to I love mine because one of two things has to happen. One, I have to love this kid this much in a shorter time because hopefully I spent more time with my kid. And then two,
It won't happen.
it can't happen because I know who I am, right? I had
Yeah,
this discussion with somebody and she was kind of getting an attitude. I said, listen, you'd rather have a man like me tell you I could never be that kind of role because I'm gonna pick my. If there's a 1% chance I can save mine and a 100% chance I can save yours, I'm going for the 1% chance. That's my
yeah,
kid,
yeah.
right? That's who I am, and I'm not. That is not me, saying you should because I got mad respect for people who can do it. But and I go
You
back to
can.
COVID times, right? My son was sick and sick as fuck, right? To the point where he was in his crib and he wasn't eating all this other shit. I'm like, man, I gotta go around and see these people, right? I gotta deal with people with this and the other. I know I'm not gonna isolate, but I'm going to get my fucking son. And I'm gonna take him to the hospital because he's not answering phones, And my son's a big motherfucker, bro. I had to go in his house, pick him up, and throw him over my shoulder and carry him out, put him in the car, drive him to the hospital. Right? I understood that by doing that, I'm putting myself and others at risk. But that's my people.
No, that's it right there. Like I never. That's how we think. Like when my like if my when my daughters are sick, like I don't I don't alienate them to preserve myself by no means. Like whatever
Right.
I'll take whatever
100%.
I'll just take it. Like I'm saying, but I'm gonna come see about them. I don't feel like that about nobody else's. I don't
I'm
think it's
not
worth
doing
it.
it, bro. If it like,
Right?
ooh, he got that,
Yeah, and
call me when he
so
better.
I'm just so I'm saying like, bro, it's it
It,
when I realize this when you if you when you and I think this is true for everybody that's in a situation when you get in a relationship with someone who isn't the mother of your children, then that person is going to even get more of you than your own children. It's inevitable.
I mean, time wise, right? I
That
mean,
yeah,
it's just reality.
right? And that is a disservice and an injustice to your children. No matter how you look at it, I'm saying it doesn't. It's some other. Like, yeah, does the mother have a role in it? Yes, but the facts are the facts, right? I'm
Yeah.
not telling no man to sit around and be disrespected or be miserable because you're not going to be able to be a quality father to your child. But what I'm saying is that either way, whoever you with, they're going to get more of you than your child is going to get, and that's not fair to your child, no matter how you spin it.
Bro, you said that, and that touched me because I was thinking, and I spent a lot of time traveling, right? I spent a lot of time thinking to myself, I have to do this shit so I can provide for my family. And I realized there was times where I couldn't be here for whatever reason, but I wasn't here for my wife, I wasn't here for my son, I wasn't here for my daughter at the same damn time, right? I didn't pick somebody else. I was missing their time trying to provide for their lives. Because it took me a long time to realize that, like, because I didn't grow up with shit. So I'm like, man, I want my kids to have as much as I can give them respectfully, right? My son turned 16. I wasn't financially where I'm at, but I gave him my car and I bought some bullshit because I'm like, well, I'm gonna give you the one I have now, which is the nicest one I can afford. I'm gonna buy me some bullshit. And I was in a different position when my daughter was 16. I was able to buy her a brand new car. But my whole point in saying that shit is I related like being able to give them what I didn't have as being the best father. In hindsight, I spent a lot of time doing shit I probably should have. I've been better off having less money and spending more time. But it sounds fucked up, but I neglected them equally. I didn't neglect one for the other. Right? And I did have those times in life where I gotta go, hey, they got some shit going at the same time. Well, mom's gonna go with one of y'all, pop's gonna go with the other, and then we're gonna rotate the next time. Right? So what you said is interesting
Yeah.
because you're right, man. Like you're gonna put that time in, right? And you're gonna inadvertently neglect somebody.
Right. It's because it's a different reason. Like if I'm with, it hits different when I'm with somebody that's not your mother. Like if me and your mother are raising you and I'm gone because I'm working to take care of y'all, that's very different than I'm over here coming home to another woman every night.
Right, a whole nother family
It's a
potentially.
whole right, a whole nother family. No matter what I do, it's you still missed out. You still got
Yeah,
cheated. That's just the reality of
I
it.
mean that would have to hurt to think to yourself, especially not as a young kid. When you get older, like, damn, pops had a choice. He just didn't choose us. Right? You don't know all the details. You don't know shit about the relationship, right? Because you don't. Like I don't know shit about my mom and dad's relationship. I just know they got a divorce at some point,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
But
yeah.
but you think like if you have another family, like damn, pops, you know what I'm saying? Like he picked them because that's the one that left, regardless of how it went down.
Yeah, I tell you like this, like even though it's a blessing in a lot of ways, it's still time wasted in other ways. When I say that my son is an adult son, who I'm able to have these conversations with, right, and explain everything, but we're still spending time, quality time. I'm explaining to him versus bonding. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
Like
right, right.
it's still it goes on forever.
No doubt.
I'm having to now say, you know what? Now now that I'm coming to these revelations, you know what? I realized that, yeah, in order for for his legacy, what's going to be good for him. Now me and his, it's in our best interest for us to be intentional about creating moments with me and him. I'm
Right,
telling
right,
his
right.
mother that, like, he needs this for not only for him, like, at the end of the day, when he decides to build a family, like, it's going to be it just the optics are going to be much healthier for his family to be able to see pictures and footage of us together. You know what I'm saying? Like,
No
even
doubt,
though
bro.
even though it's all simulation, right? It's
At the
you
end of
know
the day, fam, it's memories. They gonna look at some shit like, man, that was mom and that was grandmom and grandpop, right? You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? And
So it's like,
dad and grandpa, or, mom and you know what I'm saying, grandma, whatever it was.
and it's like, you know what? I wouldn't even have to do this type of shit. It shit could have, if you know what I mean, had this shit went the way it's supposed to go. it just would have already happened naturally. You see what I'm saying? Like,
I do because it's weird because so many people say shit to me. So my life to me is normal. That's all I know, right? So when I hear people say, "Oh man," like, and I've had chicks say to me, "You don't know how good you have it because you get to spend time with your kid and your grandkid at the same time." And I'm like, "That's all I know, right? With this new situation, right?" Or my daughter, my grandson, my daughter, my wife, myself, my wife's mom. Like, or, what I'm saying? I'm looking at and that's 3 generations of them. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't have that because my parents passed away, but I'm like, but that's still normal to me. And I hear people say, man, you don't know how good, how lucky you are. And I'm like, it is, when I think about it, it's not common.
right. It's not the way.
Right. It's not,
Yeah.
it's not common amongst the people who I have associated with throughout my life.
Yeah, you have essentially what you're essentially doing is and you're able to enjoy it. You're able to live in it because essentially this is why I think the universe rewards you for doing the right thing. You know what I'm saying? You're able to bask in what like because you know this shit was built on some real. It was intentional. You drew it
Right.
up
Right.
like this, right? Um, like versus somebody like me who's sitting on the exact opposite to where it's like I have an entire grandchild out here that I'm not even attached to at all. You know what I mean? Just because of how I was drawn up, and so and I tell people I learned the most about this when I had the opportunity to actually raise my daughters with their mother. You see what I'm saying? Like it really
100%.
is. So naturally, we have enough footage and pictures to last us lifetimes naturally. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right.
Just
Right.
it wasn't us trying. We just naturally do
You
it. You know
just
what I
live
mean?
life.
Yeah. So, but on the flip side, it's like, damn, y'all still missed out. Like y'all got 4 brothers out here that y'all won't have those type of memories with because of, you know, where we went wrong at. And
So
so,
what do you think drives us as so-called black people to really just to accept the shit, deal with it, and do it? Right, like I said, I remember some months back, I was like, man, I got a homie that got 6x6, had a 7x7, and I congratulated him, and I had to feel bad. Like, what makes us okay with this shit? I got a cousin that got 12 baby mamas, bro. Like, there's no, you know how I feel. I give anybody one. 2, we can have a discussion about. 3, I feel like you're just reckless. But 12,
I say, for me, the best answer, I'm gonna be honest, is as a culture, we cowards.
we
It's
won't shun or shame people for doing the wrong thing. We
right.
will shun and
We
shame you for doing
cowards.
the right shit.
We
I
cowards.
remember being, I swear to God, bro, I remember being called a smarty art nigga. I'm like, what the fuck? You really
Right.
fucking with me because I know something?
That's what I mean. I'm saying
Right?
we're scared. We're scared of what comes with accountability. Whether it's holding each other accountable or holding ourselves accountable, it's easier to not be shit.
If everybody move forward and I don't, I gotta look at me. So I need to hold everybody back. Right? So we all can look at the couple that didn't, you know what I'm saying, that didn't stay back.
Yeah.
I don't know, bro. It's sad though. This shit like really eats me up, especially when I start to look at and I'm guilty of saying shit about specifically about black women, but I get mad when I see the bickering between because I'm like, listen, this shit is saying you don't need a man. I'll co-sign you don't need a man if you don't want to be a wife or a mother.
But what? Okay. So
And typically, let me clarify because I had this discussion with my boy. When I hear I don't need a man, I think to myself, I don't need a man to continue my life as it is right now. Right?
right. But in retrospect, though, if we keep it in 100, like what it based from a cultural standpoint, what so-called black woman doesn't need a man? There's no that doesn't make sense.
Every one of them got one. You just y'all ain't doing
I,
nothing else.
I'm
At a
saying the
bare
ones
minimum.
that don't. There's no such is a culture that's in the condition that we are in. There's no such thing as counterparts not needing each other. Like I'm, you know, what
I
I'm
mean, it's
saying
never been
like
a thing, right?
it.
It's never every group, whether it's right or wrong, every group like gets together, bro. Like this, it's normal. It's
Right.
good to find a wife, right? It's good to find a husband.
I'm
Maybe you
saying
didn't pick the right one. Maybe your parents did a arranged marriage, but there's benefit to the union.
look.
We are the only group actively screaming, "There's no point in getting married. Marriage is stupid."
That's my point. What I'm saying like we're not. I'm not saying there is more dysfunction in that space. across cultures. What I'm saying is how we respond to it is very different than other
No
cultures.
doubt, no doubt.
Other cultures are still not going to abort what they know is good for them culturally. We fight against it because we are cowards. We are not willing to accept what's going to come with owning that, adopting that or resubscribing to that concept, right? Because what's going to come with that is a lot of sacrifice, a lot of selflessness, a lot of pain is going to come with us understanding we need each other, right? That means that we're gonna have to accept some shit that we don't want to accept. We're gonna have to deal with some shit that we don't want to deal with. You know what I mean? Like some of us are doing it. I'm saying that I'm only
Right.
speaking like this
Overall.
because I'm actually doing it. I'm actually accepting. I'm going through how hard it is to accept that we do need each other for the sake of the generations that are to come, right? Like
Absolutely.
that, I know how beneficial this is to my daughters, right? That's my motivation. That's it. It is not ideal for me, but it's worth it for them.
I mean, the moment we have kids, we are supposed to start to put that sacrifice in place for them. They didn't ask to be here. And I think
Right.
that's the one part nobody, I shouldn't say nobody, that's one part I think a lot of people don't recognize and realize is your kids didn't ask to be here. You put in some actions as adults to bring those to, no, nobody, you don't want to, you didn't ask to be here. I didn't ask, none of us did, right? We show up because two people decided they wanted to have, they either wanted to create a family or they want to have fun. Whatever, the end result is the same. But I don't know, bro. I struggle because I be talking negative about us and too much, but I'm also trying to be honest, right?
So
And
that's it. If you feel like you being honest, I mean, because the negative and the positive, that's subjective, right? You know what I mean? Like
true
I
that.
think, but if you say I'm being honest and we know that we're having these conversations,
Speaking the
my
truth,
like it's just and this is our truth. You know what I mean? Like my what I want to do even in this space of media, like I want to build a conglomerate that rests on the foundation of what I coined as reparative media, because I even see what media is doing. The type of media that we really enjoy as a culture, what we perpetuate is not is destructive. I want to do it reparatively, and I feel like these type of conversations is what's reparative media is really just having the uncomfortable, because what comes with us doing what we know needs to be done is going to be discomfort, right? It's going to
hundred
be
percent.
it's hurtful, it's sad, it's you know what I mean, but it needs to happen. Like if we not having these conversations, then we just gonna be part of that whole conglomerate that basically just, hey, yeah, it's okay. It's okay. No, it's not okay. We are not okay.
Let me ask you this and shift subjects a little bit. I was having a discussion with my homie, and we're talking about black people overall, so-called black people overall. I'm like, bro, we can do better. We need to do better. Bro said, but man, we're not allowed to buy shit. We're not allowed to buy acres and acres. I'm like, yeah, we are. Like I feel like we spend so much time trying to justify not being able to move forward, right? Like I said, he said, well, you talking about individual shit. I said, bro, if every individual did the shit they're supposed to do, we'd rise as a collective, right?
Yeah, that's that easy shit. Okay.
It's the victim mentality, and we go round and
Yeah.
round. I'm like, bro, you want to be a victim?
We
Okay, shit's fucked up. Yes, I agree. We can go back to Black Wall Street in Oklahoma. Yes, that was fucked up, but we should keep getting
but guess
killed until
what?
we don't,
But guess what?
right?
It's I want to say this in a way that it's received the way I want it to, and not really people. People. It's some people just going. They choose to
They
just
gonna take it how
focus
they
on.
take it, bro.
Right. It is what it is. But our issue is we keep want to compare ourselves to so-called white people and other group like other yeah if we trying to do it the same way that they do it, it's not going to work. We are a different group of people, just like so-called white people don't move like so-called Japanese and Chinese and Mexican. They all move differently. They, you know
Right,
what I'm saying?
right.
Like it, so we need to do it the way that works for us. You know what I mean? Like, and it's not going to look like anything that we've ever seen before. It's gonna look very different for us because we have a very different history here in this country. It's not gonna look like we are not African. We
Bro,
are
I
not
keep trying to
Jamaican.
tell people like we are American. Unfortunately, right? Unfortunately, the history is what it is, right? I
It's
hate
what
when
it
somebody
is.
say African American because I'm like, how many generations you go back? Do I consider you Italian American? Do I consider you, Yugoslavian American? Like, why are you American and I'm not? I was born here before you.
Hey, these other people have documents that they have paper trails for we don't have that.
So that goes to something else. I was having the same discussion with my homie. I'm like, bro, listen, because he's like, man, well, how you feel about the immigrants taking land in Chicago, taking the space? I said, listen, here's the situation. I said, do you know why they're not bringing a bunch of immigrants where I live? Because we bought the fucking land, right? You can't argue about what somebody do with their own property, bro. We didn't buy enough. We bought enough other shit. Like, I feel like
Bruh,
if you buy the land, you got more control over it.
look, it's too many of us that have already done it, right? Like all it would take is one, right? But to know it's possible, but it's millions of us.
It's proof in the pudding. We see it
Right.
every
You know what I
day.
mean? Like so it. What you mean we can't do it? Yeah, we can do it. Like you gotta do it your way.
That's it.
That you know what I mean? Like, are you trying to do what yeah, if this person was born into generations of wealth, yeah, you can't do what he do.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And
Like
that was the situation. I'm like, bro, you can't take over. Like you don't own shit. This goes back to the shit we was talking about in the streets. I'm like, it's hard to argue about what somebody's buying and doing if you didn't buy shit. You can't tell me I can't sell my shit. Right? If you don't own this shit and I own it where you at and I want to sell it, you can't do shit about it.
right. This is
You
America.
don't like it, buy the shit, bro. If I don't want you to do something with this, with this space of land, I'm gonna do what I need to do to buy it.
Right. Same. So that's why same thing when
And
people try to preach gentrification. Like, well,
you should have bought that shit.
you should have bought it, and you could have bought it.
Right. And you know, so bro, you're right. You could have bought it. So I heard a lot of motherfuckers complaining about, well, South Bend looked out for all the Mexicans and they didn't look out on the West Side. I said, bro, they bought land. They brought businesses.
Hey, well, guess what? Somebody let them do that, right? So, what is it? Politics? Well, then we need to get stronger politically. Then
100%.
that's just what it is.
Right.
Stop fucking letting these churches con you out your money.
Bro, my homies, I mean, I ain't voting shit stupid. I said, that's cool, bro. Ain't no black representation. I said, well, be that then. Right? Why are you waiting on somebody else? Right? If you feel like you don't have something, I said, man, I said, you have to realize, bro, a lot of us don't have shit because we keep waiting on the people who we believe took it from us to give it back.
Bruh,
Why the fuck, bro?
you know how many old ass niggas in South Bend right now that were once young niggas they're supposed to be the community leaders, and now they are 80 years old and they still ain't did shit, and y'all still celebrating these niggas like they really did something.
We celebrate, and I'm
fuck
gonna steal
outta
these
here.
words from you. I think we celebrate mediocrity, right? Like for dumb shit.
Like what the fuck? Like
But if the goals are too high, if we say, listen, man, we only congratulating doctors and lawyers and engineers that come out to hood, we're gonna be able to do shit because we don't produce enough. So I think part of that celebrating the mediocrity and having that lower bar, so we feel better about the rest of the shit we do.
right, it's a cultural thing. Just like we
It really is.
in our culture, we taught to you're supposed to just forgive your family just because they're your relatives.
I don't give a
No.
fuck who your daddy fucked or your mama fucked.
Man,
I
nigga.
just had this conversation with my brother. I said, man, listen, I got a lot of family that it's not that I don't love them. We don't rock the same. You've said
Nah.
shit to me that I can't get over.
Yeah,
And
we're not,
it's
we're not
pointless.
family. We're not family. We relatives. That's very different.
blood, right? We are related.
I mean? Yeah.
Right. We're not friends. We related.
Right. And we can't. And I don't aim to change that. I don't sit here and wish
Nah.
that I wasn't related to you. Like that's
I
not
mean,
even
it's
my
just what it is.
position. It is what it is. But my family is what I deem it to be.
Right. And that's so that's what I said. I focus on the brievards I created. I created my wife. She had a different last name. We created our children. Right. Those are the people I focus on. Just because you got the same last name that somebody else gave you don't mean I owe you shit. I don't owe you time. Now I do have some family. We heavy, right? We kick it. That's a blessing. Right? But I don't feel like just because we share the last name that we have to be associates. Right? If you own some shit I ain't own, or you did some shit I felt was not right, or I just don't vibe with you. I just don't fuck with you.
Right. And that's the reason why we have 40-year-old gangbangers, right? That they just because I've been part of this so long and these are the rules that they said is how it's supposed to be, then what type of family would sit around and let each other not be the same thing for years?
Right.
You know what I'm
Decades.
saying? Like What? Like, nah, we supposed to be together. Then we finna build something. It'd be different if we seen if these organizations had these institutions. They were building institutions that were
Right, right,
mobilizing their culture. Then we wouldn't even call them gang bangers. You know what I'm saying?
right. Be a different name for
It
them.
would be a different. But when we justify why we would engage in these type of behaviors over decades without any benefit, then that's us choosing to be mediocre, right? And we celebrate that, and we get on. We it's all in our music now. You know what I'm saying? We celebrate. We love mediocrity. We love for a motherfucker like. I'm getting money. With this money, I'm gonna buy drugs,
Right,
pussy,
right.
cars. You know what I mean?
I'm not investing shit.
And I'm gonna call myself the worst thing that I can even think of. I'm gonna reduce myself, and millions of us are gonna go out there and celebrate and say, "I want to be like that."
And that's, bro,
Come on, man.
that's
Come on.
crazy, bro. I know we go in on that one because that was dope, right? That's just crazy, bro. I wish, I don't know, man. We got to continue that and have that conversation.
100, 100.
But that's, whew, that one was strong, bro. Shit, that was
That, that
strong.
that's how delusional we are as a people. That's just the truth. You ain't it, I no, you ain't gotta like it. I ain't gotta like it, but it don't change the reality
Man,
of
the
what it
truth is the truth,
is.
whether we like it or not.
Yeah, it is what it is. Like, think about the women right now that we are celebrating from our culture. They sluts.
Bro, I always go to sexy. Hey, look, we're going to end this so we can keep talking. Hey,
100.
we appreciate y'all, man. Y'all catch us on the
100.
next one. Peace.